vice chair arrive. So whoever, I guess if the board wants to make a motion or by acclamation designate someone to serve as chair pro tem for this evening's meeting. I saw.
Second.
Okay. Is everybody in favor of that?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations. You may proceed with calling the meeting to order and, yeah, there we go.
There we go. Many nations. All right. Well. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, attendees and participants. Welcome to the September 9th, 2025 meeting of the City of Tampa Variance Review Board. The members, from my left, the members of the board are
Megan Cochran.
Brian Fry.
Simone Savino Brown.
And I'm Todd Foltz. Also attending this, also in attendance this evening from legal, Susan Johnson Velez, and from development coordination, Stephen Eister and Lisa Middleton. There are some procedural rules you need to follow. When your case number and the petitioner's name are called, please approach the podium. When you approach the podium, please state your name, address, and confirm that you have been sworn in. The petitioner or its agent will have 10 minutes to make a presentation. All other participants wishing to speak will have 3 minutes. Then the petitioner will have an additional 3 minutes for rebuttal if needed. The time period as stated will be kept by the board, and any information such as pictures, plans that have not been previously submitted as part of the petition and that you intend to submit for consideration in support of your petition must be individually presented and accepted by the board. After acceptance by the board, you may submit the item to staff to be entered and made part of the permanent record. The board bases its decision on competent and substantial evidence, which is submitted and which meets the criteria required by the City of Tampa, City's Code of Ordinances. Please be sure to clearly state your hardship criteria during your presentation. A majority of board is needed to approve your vote. The variance granted by the board will only be for what is shown on the site plan. It will be in compliance with any terms and conditions stated by the board. All other city codes will need to be met. If your case is approved, your variance will be expired in 2 years from the date of decision. If your case is continued, it will either be continued to next month's VRB board agenda or to the next available position on an upcoming VRB board agenda. If the case is denied, you may wish to have your variance review board's decision appealed by the City Council. You must file a petition to review the board's decision within 14 days of the board's written decision, and you will not be able to pull any permits until the 14-day review period has passed. Your cooperation in ensuring that the meeting is run smoothly is greatly appreciated. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from last month's VRB board meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Eister, I believe you're up.
Nope, that's me.
Nope.
At this time, I'd like to ask if any members of the board have had any ex parte communications with anyone regarding any item on the agenda this evening. Okay, let the record reflect all board members indicated in the negative. And now, if I could ask if any board members have any conflicts of interest with respect to any items on the agenda this evening.
Yes, I have a conflict with item number 7. I will have to recuse myself. It's a matter that's being represented by my former firm.
So I think this, I'll just go ahead and, I see Ms. Eiserman in the audience, and so if Ms. Brown recuses herself, then that will leave an insufficient number of board members to consider. You won't be able to conduct the public hearing. So with that in mind, if Ms. Eiserman has a request, I believe, to continue to the next month's hearing.
So would we need a motion for that?
Yes.
So moved.
So that's a motion to continue item number 6.
I believe it's item number 7,
I'm sorry, item number 7 to the
October 14th.
October 14th at 5:30 p.m., 315 East Kennedy Boulevard in
Do we have
Tampa.
a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll see you next month.
All right, Stephen, now you're up.
do.
So we're going to start with item 3 on the agenda for tonight. The first 2 cases were misnoticed, so they would be pushed to a next available hearing. The third item on the agenda for tonight is VRB-25-53. That is not correct. Let's see. Yeah, it should be 61. VRB 25-61. But the owner is Jeanette Fenton, and the property address is 3102 West Leroy Street. The zoning is residential single family, RS 50. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 8 feet. The code section in reference is section 27-156, table 4-2. Schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations. RS 50 district setbacks are 20 feet from the front, 20 feet from the rear, and 7 feet from the sides. The previous action on the property is BLD-24-05043995, and that is construction of the current home. This is an aerial view of the site. As you can see, the home is under construction at the time of the aerial. This is a survey of the site. The variance request is for 12 feet to do a solid roof porch on the back of the house. This is a close-up showing the 8-foot measurement from the property line to the edge of the screened room with a solid roof. Natural Resources had no objections with the conditions that they meet all applicable sections of Chapter 27 under the Natural Resources Code. Transportation had no objections. With conditions, Transportation has no objections to the requested variance. However, please revise the following on the site plan when you go to construction services for permitting on this project. Please show the location of the 2 paved parking spaces. And please show the driveway apron. Wastewater, water, right-of-way, no objections. Stormwater had no objections with conditions. And it was for the site and building permit, add construction notes. The development is required to comply with stormwater requirements. No runoff shall be directed to adjacent properties. And add a construction note on the site plan. Development shall comply with City of Tampa stormwater technical standards, Chapter 21 of the City of Tampa Code. Add current flood zone information, including FEMA, firm, and date. Downspouts and bubblers are recommended to convey the stormwater runoff to the right-of-way. TECO had no objections. This is their criteria under the Variance Review Board under Section 2780. And I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Petitioner, please approach and state your name, address, and verify you've been sworn in.
Thank you, Stephen. Jeanette LaRussa Fenton, 3102 West Leroy Street, Unit B, 33607, and I have been sworn.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. I am the applicant and here to speak on my request to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 8 feet to allow for a screen room addition with an insulated roof. Before beginning my presentation, I wish to thank staff for their help. Mr. Eister and Ms. Middleton have been most helpful and responsive, and I greatly appreciate their assistance. And thank you too, board members, for your service. I have resided at this address since August 2024. I am a 4th-generation West Tampa native and had resided in West Tampa for most of my life until moving to a different part of Tampa, and now am delighted to be back. My home was not constructed specifically for me, but rather was a spec home. I had no say in the placement of the home on the lot. Before closing on the house, I had consulted with city staff and was under the impression that a screen room could be built, as that was a necessary feature I absolutely needed for my home. Apparently, there was a misunderstanding that the screen room would have a solid roof, which triggered the need for a variance. It was not until shortly after moving in, when I began obtaining estimates to construct the screen enclosure, that an astute contractor alerted me that a variance would be needed to construct the 12 by 22 insulated roof screen enclosure I desired. So here I am. Before I specifically address the 5 hardship criteria, some background is important for you to consider in making your decision. I hope for this to be my forever home, assuming I can get the variance tonight. It is absolutely critical for me to have this screen enclosure for me and for my life partner of over 25 years. He is now 83 years old, a veteran, blind, and totally disabled. He is largely homebound and ventures out rarely, mostly to doctor appointments. He has very little opportunity for fresh air and sunshine, so important to health and well-being. The addition of a screen enclosure with an insulated roof and fans would allow him and I to spend quality time outdoors, which is not possible without a shaded area to protect from the unbearable heat, showers, mosquitoes, and other pests. I am concerned for myself as well, since I will be aging in place and could face a time when I too will be homebound and need the screen porch for fresh air and sunshine. Another problem we face is that although I am happy that we have hurricane windows, they are large, heavy, and impossible for me to open. Without the screen enclosure that would allow us to open our sliders, we have no way to let fresh air into our home. Again, so necessary to maintaining a healthy home. Extended power outages from hurricanes are another concern. Having the screen enclosure with an insulated roof would allow us to remain at home after hurricanes with fresh air into the house and to be able to go outside if we lose power. Finally, the addition would benefit us by providing much-needed additional space in our small home for family gatherings. Again, without the ability for my partner and possibly eventually for me to leave our home, this extra space would allow for us to host and continue to be a part of family gatherings and enjoy the socialization so important to mental and physical health. Although my plan was always to stay in our home permanently, I cannot imagine living in a home without usable outdoor space. The prospect of perhaps having to move would cast us into total turmoil, especially since my blind partner is just now finally getting used to navigating this home. Now, I would like to specifically address each of the 5 criteria. Number 1, hardships and practical difficulties unique and singular to the property. And number 2, the hardship or practical difficulty does not result from actions of the applicant. I believe I have already fully explained the hardships and practical difficulties and that the need for the variance did not result from action on my part. Number 3, the variance will not substantially interfere with or injure the health, safety, or welfare of others. The addition of a screen porch with insulated roof will not at all impact the health, safety, and welfare of my neighbors. There are 5 properties that surround my home, all of which have structures of various types protruding into the setback. I understand from staff that there are others throughout the block with the same situation. This presents no problem to me and in no way interferes with the health, safety, and welfare of me or my neighbors. Likewise, the addition of a professionally built screen porch with proper gutters will not interfere with my neighbors' well-being nor impact them in any way. In fact, they will benefit as once the screen porch is built, I plan to plant lovely small trees that will provide an attractive canopy for me and for them and enhance the environment. I believe you have pictures of the surrounding properties that I provided as part of my application, and I also have them with me tonight if you would like to view them after my presentation. Number 4, the variance is in harmony with City Code and the Comprehensive Plan. This request is in harmony with City Code and the Comprehensive Plan, as it encourages infill urban development by allowing practical flexibility for property owners with no negative impacts to surrounding properties. Many West Tampa lots are limited in size, as are the homes on them. Modest additions allow for greater use and enjoyment of the properties and fulfill important health and social needs that small homes cannot always meet. Finally, number 5, allowing the variance will result in substantial justice being done and considers the hardships or practical difficulties that would be suffered. I have already described the hardships and difficulties that would be suffered if the variance is denied. As I also indicated, the 5 surrounding properties and others on the street have structures intruding into the setback. It is not my intention to cause problems for my neighbors or get anyone in trouble, but simply to illustrate that what I am proposing is already common throughout the neighborhood and not any special privilege for me. To the contrary, to deny this variance would single me out, treat me more harshly, and deny justice to me. I am proud that I have the support of my civic association, McFarland Park, and I believe you have that letter of support that has already been entered into the record. And I also have the support of several neighbors immediately surrounding me. And I have a form with signatures of those neighbors, and I will enter it into the record and also present it. I don't know if you can see that very clearly.
Can you zoom out?
Can you see that?
There's a zoom on the top.
Yeah. The neighbors on either side of me the homes are vacant. They're absentee owners, so I do not have any way of getting their signatures. But these are the other homes immediately surrounding me. And in fact, the neighbor immediately behind me that abuts me and would abut the screen porch, her signature, the homeowner, that is the one at 3103 West Dewey, is on this form saying they have no objection and support my request. I do also want to address, I know there was a comment by transportation about paving and parking spaces. I question that because it has absolutely nothing to do with my application. I have a residential property, no paved parking spaces, just my driveway, but I was told by transportation that that's just standard language they insert in all of these. So I just wanted to speak to that. This concludes my presentation. I thank you again for the opportunity to present my case. I respectfully request your approval of my variance request, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does that conclude your presentation?
I'm sorry?
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, it concludes my presentation.
All right. Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against?
Well, I have a question. She had said she had photos. We have not seen those photos. Do you mind showing us what you have in terms of photos today?
I do. There are quite a few.
Sorry, I had to open the,
We have.
they're in the packet.
I know, but I haven't seen them. I would like to see.
Okay, I'm going to open up for board, seeing no one to speak for or against, I'll open for board questions.
Thank you.
Would you like me to show the photos
Yes,
now?
if you don't
Sure.
mind. Thank you very much.
These first two are ones that show the project area, and I'm going to put that one down. That is looking from the back of the yard. So you will see that's exactly where the screen porch would go. And then here is the view looking toward that, and I apologize that it's in black and white, but I was having printer issues. But that is looking toward the sliders from the backyard.
Can you turn it, please? Turn it.
Can you turn it flat? There you go.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. We're all up here craning our necks.
Okay.
I have a question. Would you
okay.
be, I mean, and we have not deliberated, but would you be opposed to a condition of approval that just says, we would approve this, but you can't fill it in as usable home space?
Oh, that would be perfectly fine with me. That would defeat the purpose. I want outdoor space. I have no intention of ever enclosing this.
Okay,
Yes.
good to know. I appreciate that.
Yes, and I appreciate that as well.
So the space that you showed on that picture with the two chairs, that very small piece of that's the only thing you're enclosing? You're not extending that piece of concrete at all?
Oh, yeah, oh, yes, the concrete.
It is extending?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the concrete that you see in that picture is only about a 3-foot
I
slab.
thought it looked rather
Yes, so
small.
it would be,
Okay.
it would be a 12-foot slab, so it
Okay.
would be extended 9 more feet beyond that existing slab.
No worries, thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, Ms. Janet, thank you for your presentation. So I'm looking at this survey and it says an alley. It's an alley, but I don't see an alley. I see a home directly behind it. So I'm confused about.
There is no, I guess there is an alley on paper, as is the case
Okay.
in many places in the city, but there is no alley.
Okay.
It is completely closed off.
I can expand on that.
Sure.
So here's the survey that was submitted. So the alley has not been vacated yet, so it is a 10-foot alley that is behind the property. So that's why if you look here, this lot's actually only 98 foot And then you have the alley that makes up the additional, to make it the full RS-50 length.
So the 8 feet is to the fence, but not to the end of the lot?
So the 8 feet goes to the property line,
Okay,
and then there's the alley
behind it on the other
behind
side?
that. Correct,
Okay, very good.
It hasn't been vacated yet.
correct. So that would be an additional, if it ever was to be vacated,
The additional 5
it would
feet.
go half and half
Yeah.
with this area.
Oh,
Are there any easements in that alley?
Tico did not comment on any, usually it's power that runs through the alleys, and Tico made no comment on any easements within the alley.
Okay.
That's yours, I think. That one's yours, yeah. Would you
What else?
like me to continue to show pictures, or?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. This is the neighbor on the west side, and you can see the structure there that is protruding into the setback. This is the neighbor to the east. Again, you can see the structure protruding into the setback. I'm gonna not show you every single picture to save your time. There's some that are duplicates. This is the southwest neighbor. You can see how close that is to the fence.
Is that if you know, is it just like a shed or is that a part of the home?
That is a shed.
Okay,
The other ones I showed you, well, the one on the east side that's a structure that I don't even know what to call it. Let me put it that
Okay.
way. It's not usable. It's walls, no roof. I don't know what it was at one time. The structure on the west, I'm not sure. That is an enclosed, it looks like a room addition to the house, but I'm not sure. That home is vacant. Both homes on either side of me are actually vacant. But this is definitely a shed, a storage shed. These next few are the property right behind me. That is right, you can see that building, whatever it is probably about 8 feet from my fence, so well into the setback. I'm just trying to save your time. I'll just show this one. Or probably this one that shows the setback. And then these last two are the ones that are the southeast neighbor, and that is a shed. They actually have two buildings or structures. That's the same, but just a slightly different view. And those are all my photos.
Any more questions from the board? Seeing none, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal if you would like it.
I have said everything that I need to say. Unless there's questions, I'm happy to respond to. I don't know if I can enter this into the record. This is the approvals of my neighbors.
Okay, so I'll close the public hearing and open up for board comment and action.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm okay with this. The only thing I was gonna propose that is conditioning it on the fact that, for the future, it's not to be filled in with usable home space. It'll just stay a, more of a outdoor, room with, I forget how we worded it, but with the, screened sides and insulated roof.
Yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't become functional square footage.
Right, exactly. Okay. Sure. Okay. All right, so with that, I move that the variance request for VRB 2561, located at 3102 West Leroy Street, as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing, for a reduction of the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 8 feet, be approved with the following conditions. That the structure not be enclosed for usable living space, and that it remain just a screened-in area with insulated roof and fans. And that said variance as condition be granted based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that the home was already built before the structure was added, and we have been able to determine that this addition will fit in harmony with the other structures surrounding it in the neighborhood.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you
for
so
making
much,
this.
board members. Thank you, Stephen.
Moving to the next item on the agenda, VRB 25-65. The owner is Andrew and Marian Sherman. The applicant, Gary Troop. The property address is 811 South Idlewood Drive. The zoning is residential single family, RS 50. The request to reduce side yard setback from 7 feet to 3 feet. The code section in reference is section 27-156, table 4-2. Schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations of RS 50 districts. Setbacks are 20 feet from the front, 20 feet from the rear, and 7 feet from the sides. Previous action is SPR 25-0002046, which is a site plan for the proposed project. This is the existing, this is the aerial photo of the house. And there is one correction, the site is zoned RS 75, which gives it a 25-foot front setback, but it does not impact the request here. This is a overall view of the site plan. The area squared in blue is the area that's seeking relief for the variance. This is a close-up of that area, showing the 4'2", and then it slightly because of the angle of the house. This house is being elevated to meet current FEMA standards, and because it's being elevated, it is triggering major renovation, causing the standard setbacks to apply, creating that 7-foot requirement to appear again. Because the house was originally built in 1955 prior to zoning. Natural Resources has no objections. Their review pertains solely to the requested setback reductions and does not waive any natural resources requirements under SPR 25-0002046, including the canopy pruning plan, root pruning, tree protection zones, and defined work zones. Transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, all had no objections. Stormwater had no objections with conditions. The proposed work to raise the finished floor elevation of an existing house does not require floodplain compensation because it is in a tidal floodplain. Elevating the structure to an elevation above FEMA's 100-year, 24-hour base flood zone elevation, zone AE, would be beneficial to mitigate the effects of tidal surges. 2, heavy equipment associated with this project may negatively impact the existing sidewalks and surrounding areas. Disturbed areas must be continuously stabilized and partially restored during construction. Positive drainage shall be maintained during construction. Projects surrounding properties from construction equipment, intrusion, ground, and overhead, construction material traveling to neighboring property during rain events and flooding, follow stormwater BMP requirements. TICO had no objections. This is the criteria for variance review board review, and I'm available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
All right, petitioner, please approach the podium. State your name, address, and if you've been sworn in.
My name is Gary Troop, and my address is 404 South Shorecrest Drive. and I was sworn in. And
My name is Michael Shapiro at 4102 West Barcelona Street, Tampa, and I have been sworn.
Thank you.
Let me get over to the,
okay, you get over this again. I'm requesting this variance to reduce the side setback from 7 to 3 feet in the south side of the home. This is an existing condition. The home was built in 1955, before zoning code and setbacks rules were in place. Let's go ahead and show
I clicked it.
the survey.
I
It's
clicked it.
basically what Stephen has already shown us there. Okay,
There we
there's
go.
2 points. There's the rear of the house. The property is irregular, like all the homes in the area. And the back corner is 5.7 inches off the property line. And then there's a bay window that's 3.5 feet off of the property line. And the bay window is, if you can show that next one.
Yeah, sorry.
The bay window is a concrete structure. Was built at the same time the home was built, and it has a slab goes underneath it.
Aerial one,
You got it?
yes.
Okay. As you can see it there, the house next door to it actually faces the opposite street, and its rear sets back. That house was built in 26, and there's about 11 feet rear setback on that home. So, and then go to our, let's go to the aerial.
Yeah,
I think would be the
I
best
did.
thing. Oh, you can see this here, how close these homes are, but they've been that way since 55.
Okay.
And then,
keep going.
okay. There are many homes across Tampa with similar setbacks issues due to neighborhoods with the original development, and it was unusual. The family has been out of the home since September 24, when Hurricane Helena hit Tampa. The plan is to raise the home above the floodplain to help protect for future floods. And we have already submitted architectural plans and engineering plans to the city. But the project is currently stalled because of this setback issue. Since the existing home is only approximately 3 feet away from the property line, we are asking a variance so that the house can be lifted and with the current footprint, and the family can move back into the home. Okay, the next one is, this 3-foot setback has been in place for 70 years with no issues. The variance in this setback won't be making anything closer to the neighbor. It is just allowing the home to be lifted. The neighborhood, and that's, okay, got that picture up. The neighborhood the lots are all irregular because of the going around the waterway. Oh, it hadn't come up yet? There.
There we go.
Okay. The home we're talking about has got the little red dot on it. And so all the lots are irregular shaped and, with similar issues. So it won't be creating any new impacts to the neighborhood. We truly believe that this request is reasonable and it won't negatively affect the neighbors. It is important it will help this displaced family get back into their home and be protected from future storms. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'll open up for board questions.
Thank you. I have a question. So is this on a waterway or is it just adjacent?
It's just adjacent, it's not on the water.
Okay.
The water's, if you go back to that
Yeah, you
picture
can see
again,
it.
can you bring, no, you can't see.
Right, in this image, I can see
Oh,
the
there.
water, so it's
There.
just close
Yeah,
by.
that-
There's
the
no
other
little-
houses aren't actually on the water, they're across the street from the water. But they
Okay.
have water access, but this home does not.
Okay, and then my other question was, so the whole home is gonna be taken and lifted, is that?
Yes.
True, okay.
Yes.
I don't know how they do that, but
Oh.
it has to be done.
Well, they dig trenches underneath, they put steel I-beams under, and then they jack it up just like when they move a home. And this is a two-story home,
Right.
so it's kind of a feat. But we're gonna lift it up, and then we're gonna build a structure underneath it for it to be set down on top of.
How high will this one go? Just out of curiosity?
The height of it, I know it's not exceeding the, wait, do we have, no, I don't have that.
I know
with
that's
me.
actually a complicated question, so
Yeah,
that's
it's a
okay.
complicated question.
Yeah.
It doesn't exceed the height rules because of a new thing. Oh, you can talk about it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not, I got the elevation though.
Oh, you got it,
Oh,
okay.
good.
Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't read it, but maybe
It's
Stephen.
33 point, what I thought I saw. Move over. Yeah. 33.5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is according to FEMA standards, correct?
And that's according to FEMA standards. There was something that was passed by city council beginning of summer about instead of being at the grade, you go to the FEMA height, and then
Right.
you're able to go your 35 feet.
Yes.
Was this home flooded?
This home, yes.
It was flooded?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, you're not changing the footprint.
No,
You're just raising the property to meet the FEMA
Correct.
standards, which is triggering the variance.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
I guess we-
Okay, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal, should you need it.
Is, what now?
You have 3 minutes for rebuttal, should you need it. You have 3 more minutes to
No.
speak if you want
Okay,
to.
I don't need a rebuttal.
Okay, so I'll close the public hearing and open up for board discussion and a motion.
Perfect. Yep.
I move that the variance request for case VRB-25-65 for the property located at 811 South Idlewood Drive be granted and as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce side setback from 7 feet to 3 feet based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record, and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that the home was flooded in the recent hurricanes and is being lifted. It is not changing the footprint, and the FEMA standards for raising the property have activated the request for variance.
Second.
All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Motion carries, congratulations.
All right, moving along to the next item on the agenda, BRB-25-66. The owner is Jonathan and, I don't want to mess up, Fields. The applicant is Daryl Kurtz. The property address is 4013 West North 8th Street. The zoning is residential single family, RS 50. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback for a screen enclosure from 5 feet to 4 feet 4 inches. The code section in reference is section 27-290.5. Schedule of area height bulk placement regulations for screen enclosures. Setbacks are 20 feet from the front, 5 feet from the rear, 5 feet from the sides, and 7 feet from the corner. Previous applications, BLD-25-051431/SPR-25-00000212 for the proposed screen enclosure. BLD-24-0511-806 is the in-ground pool. And then BLD-23-0501-823 is the construction of the current home. This is a aerial of the home. This is a site plan of the home showing the pool in the rear yard. We're gonna do a close-up. This is the pool. And then there's 4 feet from the edge of the pool here to the property line. Natural Resources has no objections. Transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, All have no objections. Stormwater had no objections with conditions. The development is required to comply with City of Tampa stormwater requirements. No runoff shall be directed to the adjacent properties. The space between the pool and property line is small. Collect the on-site stormwater runoff and convey off-site runoff so there is no flooding or adverse impacts to the neighbors. Add construction note to the site plan. Development shall comply with City of Tampa stormwater technical standards, Chapter 21 of the City of Tampa Code. Add current flood zone information, including FEMA, firm, and date, and then Tico had no comment. This is the criteria for the variance review board and comments from staff. I do want to pull up the site plan so we can get a closer zoom in. So this was the site plan that was submitted for both the pool permit, the screen enclosure permit. So the area in question, Phil, let me zoom in, is from this edge of pool deck to the property line. There should be a 5-foot separation there. There is a 4-inch separation. So they would like to construct the screen enclosure along the edge of the pool deck. That's existing. And then I'll be available for any additional questions or concerns. This is a kind of a quick outline showing how it works. So you got the deck, the pool, and then from this area to this area is only 4 inches instead of 5 feet.
Daryl Kurtz with Cody Pools and Finish Line Screens, and I have been sworn in. The 4013 West North H Street is the address of the property, and Cody Pools is 6846 North Del Mabry, Tampa, Florida. We're requesting that 4-foot, 4-inch setback that was approved with the pool permit and the dimensions of the pool. We haven't changed that. It was built to plan, passed all of its inspections. We applied for the screen enclosure. 4 foot, 4 inches wasn't gonna work. Just some pictures of what was built out there. You can kind of see the footer there for the screen enclosure, and that is what the screen enclosure would sit on, putting our anchors and everything in there, going across the back there. You can see there's plenty of space for runoff, for drainage, that won't affect surrounding neighborhoods, just like Stormwater wanted. Just another one, kind of from the house. One more from kind of the other side. You can kind of see the spa that sits right there at the back of it. And the almost finished prop with the product with the pavers on there. So again, the screen enclosure would go right along the back and up that side right there. And it's the back side that we are asking for the 4 foot, 4 inches. That's basically it. I do have the inspections that were passed for the bonding and the footer through the pool. So the footer was approved and passed inspection, and as well as the pool plan, if you need to see those. But that is it for me, other than that.
All right. I'll open for board questions.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I think this one's straightforward.
Okay, so no questions? Okay. You have 3 minutes for rebuttal should you need it.
No rebuttal.
So we'll close the public hearing and open up for board discussion and a motion. I can't do it.
Do you want to do it?
Move this variance request for VRB 25-66 for property located at 4013 West North A Street to be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a rear, for a reduced rear setback for a screen closure from 5 feet to 4 feet, 4 inches, based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record at the public hearing of unnecessary hardship or practical difficulties when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 2780 of the city code, specifically say that, the footers are already been improved and, the footers are already set 4 inches from the property line.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, your motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is VRB 25 The owner is Jeffrey and Amy Cullen. The applicant is Gary Del Reese. The property address is 3204 Oak Green Way. The zoning is residential single family RS 60. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 5 feet due to the pool deck height. The code section of reference is 27-156, table 4-2. Schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations. RS 60 district setbacks are 25 feet from the front, 20 feet from the rear, and 7 feet from the sides. The previous action is BLD 24-0505761, pool permit. This is a current aerial of the house. This is a overall site plan. This is a close-up version of the site plan. The area highlighted in yellow is the area that extends above 12 inches above grade, triggering the need for the variance. The property does slope. There is a drainage area to the side here. So it's approximately 10 inches here, and then it increases as the property goes across. These are photos of the pool in its current condition. Natural Resources had no objections. The project shall meet, no objections with conditions. The project shall meet all natural resource conditions as outlined under BLD 24-0505761. Transportation, wastewater, water, and right-of-way had no objections. Stormwater had no objections with conditions. The development is required to comply with stormwater requirements. No runoff shall be directed to the adjacent properties. The space between the pool and property lines, east, west, and south is small. Collect the on-site stormwater runoff and convey the off-site runoff to the front of the property so there is no flooding or adverse impacts to the neighbor. Add construction note to the site plan. Development shall comply with City of Tampa Stormwater Technical Standards, Chapter 21 of the City of Tampa Code. Add current flood zone information including FEMA, firm, and date. A GIS contour map is attached for your reference, and TICO had no objections. This is the criteria for the Variance Review Board. And I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
All right, thank you. My name's Gary DeLisi, 17106 Equestrian Trail, Odessa, and I've been sworn in. And this is a little different because we're actually asking for forgiveness than something that's being built already. That corner lot that was pointed out by Stephen is really in the back corner. When we started the project, there was a lot of landscaping in that area. The client has a lanai that we were building off of, but rather than a step down, a tripping hazard for them, they wanted it to be level so they weren't tripping down into the pool. So at the layout stage, we actually did lay it out to the elevation of the patio rather than stepping it down. At that time, everything looked like it was gonna be fine as far as the elevations go. We got through all our inspections except for the last inspection, but that was due to when I looked at the grade the grade needed to be sloped more, going towards the drainage area. Adjacent to this property is nothing but a large drainage area for the whole neighborhood. It's a residential application versus typical city streets. And also, we have a overflow, even with that, because this is at the 50% rule, it's a little over the 50% rule. Just to the left of that, there's a little square that you can see, probably not see it in here, but you can see it. You can see over, and is this coming up? Okay.
Yeah.
Right in this area here, there's actually, we put a drainage area, holding area for the area that's over the 50% rule. That's a holding tank. And then that overflows into this area over here, which is the drainage area for the whole neighborhood. Everything drains down into that area. So the whole thing is for that. The height elevations does not impose any threats on any of the neighbors. There's no neighbor on the side over by the drainage area. And this area over to the neighbor right directly behind them is set back quite a ways with foliage in between. At the time, we didn't know that we'd be out of over the elevation that was acceptable. In that corner is the only part that's in play here. The rest of the pool is fountain on the back wall, which has a 36-inch restriction, so that's fine. And the spa has a 36-inch restriction, but even that, they're still not over at water level, not over the 12 inches. That's basically what I have.
Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'll open up for board questions.
Okay, so my first question is, did it come in as a violation? Is that what happened here? Just out of curiosity.
At the final inspection, we didn't get our final
Didn't get a
inspection
final
because of
approval.
that. All the way through, we got our inspections all the way up until after the final grade, and we didn't want to impair on that corner. We could have raised up the ground maybe to make it, but it really wouldn't be flowing right, and that would cause a hardship that stormwater would probably not, would be ejecting to. So we kept it at that level, and actually asked for that to be looked at as a shape because of the way the property is. But they said best thing to go through variance.
Is there only one property owner behind this strip of homes? It looked like
Correct.
there was no fences or anything. It's just one person living on that
There,
lot?
there's a fence there, and then there's a fence right behind their property, because that's
Right.
what they have. There's a fence right here, there's a fence right here. You can see it in the trees.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it in the trees. And then there's a wide gap. You can see there's an automobile parked on their lawn, and there's a wide gap between there and the property that's right behind.
And it's just like a large lot, not broken up. Is it gonna be built on, or is it?
No, I think it's part of their, as far as I know, it's part of their property.
Okay.
And you can see over here, this was the difference. This is the difference in elevations. You see right here? That's where it's 20 inches from the property. Should be at 12, should have been down here. And that's the difference right here. And it's just this back one section that we're talking about right here. That's it.
In the corner.
So the whole property is sloped?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. from
Yeah, it
east to
slopes,
west of
it slopes quite a bit because of the stormwater thing being on the side.
And so you said you mitigated the runoff with the area beside the pool, the tank, so that it runs off into the.
All the gutters and everything run into that, and that's to make it for the 50% rule. And again, this is a development, so it's not like your typical 50% rule, you have to do those big drainage ditches. This is a development, so you only have to go the partial that's over the 50%. So we did the holding area there, and then that goes into the stormwater after that. Actually, there's a little drain uplift that you can see on the side there, maybe barely see it. It's right about here where if that tank fills up, then it does fill up here and then goes over to the side.
Any more questions? Okay, I will close board questions. You have 3 minutes for rebuttal, should you need it.
I'm good.
All right, I'll close the public hearing and open up for board discussion and motion.
I can see the actual hardship, given the fact that the property slopes.
100% agree.
So-
Very unique in Florida.
Yeah. So, if you want me to, I'll go ahead and do it. Or do you want to do it? Okay, go ahead.
I move that the variance request for case VRB 25 67 for the property located at 3204 Oak Green Way be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 5 feet due to the pool deck height. Based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at the public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that back corner is the only area really in question right now, and the yard slopes. The drainage has been handled to comply with the requirements and adhering to the 50% rule.
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you,
Thanks, Steve.
congratulations, pass.
Thank you.
Is that your pen? Sorry. Oh,
Yeah, thanks again.
I'll leave them all over the place, so I can-
They're really hard to find.
With the continuance, we are now on the last item of the agenda, which is VRB 25 77. The owner is Foundation Realty LLC. The applicant is Domain Homes. The property address is 4614 West Euclid Avenue. The zoning is residential single-family RS 60. The request is to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 14 feet. The code section is 27-156, table 4-2. Schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations of RS 60 district setbacks are 25 feet from the front, 20 feet from the rear, and 7 feet from the sides. The previous actions are SPR-0002546, which is the proposed home. This is a aerial view of the property in question. This is the house that is being proposed. There is a off-site grand tree that cannot be impacted as part of the construction. As part of the packet, and part of the SPR process, an air spade was conducted to pick the locations of the elevated footers to bridge over roots. This is a close-up of the setback being asking for the reduction is from the 25 feet here, which is the hash line, to 14 feet, and then it still accommodates the circular driveway in the front. Natural Resources has no objections with condition. At the time of construction, additional adjustments may be required to ensure proper placement of the alternate construction methods. With the reduced front setback, the home has room to adjust and span over critical routes. Transportation, wastewater, water, right-of-way, stormwater had no comment, and TICO all have no objections to the request. This is the criteria for the Variance Review Board, and I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns related to the site or to the tree, if need be.
Is the applicant here?
I sworn in on the paper, is that correct?
Yep. You need to be sworn in?
I mean, I signed the paper, I think,
No, you have to
No,
be sworn
you
in.
have to be sworn in.
okay. I do.
All right, go ahead and state your name, address, and if you've been sworn in.
My name is Luke Sirac, address 3710 West Horatio Street. So I'm here today on behalf of the
I know
foundation.
it seems ridiculous, but verify you've been sworn in?
Yes.
Okay.
So Stephen did a good job of explaining it. It's pretty straightforward. If I could get the site plan pulled up. I have it under the projector here. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this is the tree right here. Originally, we had placed this house 5 feet further back, which is the 19-foot. Basically, you get 25% reduction in a setback administratively to protect a grand tree, which this is. That wasn't really enough. When we did the air spade, there was 3 large roots. One of them I think is a big 4-inch root, so the root system spans kind of across the back of where you see the house placed now. We moved the house up 5 feet per the arborist recommendation, which avoids that root system there. This house is in a flood zone, so it's being rebuilt. The main hardship is just that tree, and then the moving the house forward still allows for sufficient parking and then access to Euclid Avenue. And there's not too much more to go into with that. Also, I appreciate everyone's time and consideration.
Does that conclude your presentation?
It does.
Open for board comment or questions?
Saving a grand tree, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I have a question for Steven and for staff. How big is this grand tree again? And then what are the chances that it just continues to just double in size? Like, is it gonna eventually be impacted by this home?
Got some good pictures.
Photos and everything. So
Wow.
I can speak to the part of the tree. So the tree currently is 34 inches. It's off-site. So the elevated footers will go down below the root zone. Typically, the root zone's within 6 to 12 inches. So the elevated footer will go below that, then a beam will come up, lay across, and then come down on the other side. When I looked over the arborist report, like Lucas was saying, there was a few 4-inch roots, and that's when it was requested that the house be adjusted forwards. Again, the 14 foot is the closest, so which allows them, if they need to, when time comes in the field, if they need to adjust backwards to adjust the footers, they have that ability to make those minor adjustments. That's why my comment reads, additional adjustments may be needed, depending on what type of footer style they use. They could use like a cylinder, or they might come in with just a large column. So they have that flexibility to kind of shift back and forth and make that work, as long as they don't go beyond the 14 feet that they're applying for today.
Was this tree impacted by the storms at all, or it seems like it wasn't, but?
I believe
Yeah.
it's in good condition.
Yeah, so with it being off-site, it can't be impacted at all because it's not theirs. And then it also has to be of good condition, which the arborist lays out. Let me find the overall condition. They have it rated as preservation quality, and then with this adjustment, they only need to do a less than 10% canopy pruning. So they believe that the tree will be able to survive the construction. It's also a live oak, so it should be, they better handle the construction stress.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there will be additional like protections that come in through the building permit phase that are just not being addressed currently.
Okay, like grading over the roots and stuff, right?
Correct. Like there'll be mulch, there'll be plywood and mulch over the critical root zones.
Okay,
And then they'll have to be inspected in phases. So when the root pruning's done and the footer goes in, that'll have to be looked at to make sure the
Okay.
tree's not being impacted.
could that
And it
trigger more variances, or?
No, because they can only move up.
Okay,
Moving to the rear doesn't really help them any. And then they can move, they have the ability by right to move a foot if need be to the left or right
okay,
under that section of 27-156,
okay.
note 7.
Oh,
Which is what they tried to utilize first with the 25% reduction.
that's right, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
I believe I missed the part where I need to ask if there's anyone here willing to wish to speak for or against this motion. All right, seeing none, we'll continue with our board questions if you have any. Seeing none, I will close the board discussion, and you have 3 minutes for rebuttal.
No need.
Okay, thank you. Now we can close the public hearing and open it for board discussion and motion.
Trying to save a tree.
I love to save a tree.
For sure. I was only concerned if, you know, in the future, they just seem to grow so fast a lot of the times, you know. But it sounds like we're gonna have some wiggle room for the tree. It's not on their property. So I'm okay with, you know, obviously saving another grand oak.
All right, let's do it.
You want to do it? Got it?
I'll do it, okay,
Okay.
sure. I move that the variance request for VRB, oh, it's for, but it's not,
You're right, it's a setback.
This is a setback.
I bet, even though it's
Yeah.
for a tree, it's a setback.
I move that the variance request for case VRB 25-77 for the property located at 4614 West Euclid Avenue be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 14 feet based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that this is being done in order to save a neighboring grand tree.
Second.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, motion carries.
Thank you.
And Ms. Johnson-Velez, is there anything else we need to go through, or should we close the meeting? Okay, with that, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, I call the meeting adjourned.
Concerned about the validity of some of the projects. For example, the Manhattan project of 2025 seems to be the same work that we've done in 2019. I've spoken to the contact person, but the answers are still not clear as to the difference in these projects. So my question is, how is the Manhattan project of 2025 going to help with flooding when the other 2 extensive projects have not? Did I do okay?